What's up everybody, this is Ven welcoming you to another MOC Spotlight where we take apart what you build. For today's episode we'll be going over Goliath, created by our very own Mesonak, host of the TTV podcast. Some of you may know him as simply just Meso. So before we get started, let me remind you of my method of reviewing, which involves a point system that is based on three fundamental attributes: the overall appearance of the MOC, the build of the MOC itself, and the concept and ideas behind the MOC's creation. Each quality will amount up to 5 points, leading up to a final score that will be determined at the end of the episode. And please remember that this is all based on my opinion, so let's get this started. Yeah, that's right, folks. You're looking at a creation done by my vocal doppelganger. Now, I know what you're thinking. Since when does Meso do this? Well, it's kind of surprised me, too. One day, he's like, hey, yo, got this one MOC I made. And I'm like, dude, that's cool. I want to review it. He's like, I'll take pictures of it. And then a couple months later, here I am, finally reviewing it. Isn't that crazy? So anyway, what we have here is, I'm not entirely sure what this is, but what I can make out is that this is some big, bulky, hulky, humanoid-shaped creature, which I have to immediately praise for its color scheme. I really like how all these colors go together. The black and the blue and the gold. It looks really good. I don't think I see this color scheme all too often, yet it seems like I should. Really. Like, I'm more surprised that I don't see it more often, you know? Now, the figure itself looks pretty unique. It's a little vague looking, but also really cool to look at. And what I actually appreciate about this MOC is that it has some really balanced proportions for being whatever the heck it is. Like, it's consistently bulky, and it's bulky where it probably should be. And I can't help but feel a little bit intimidated by its strange gaze. Does this thing have a face? I can't tell. Like, I think this blue thing up here is the face, like this blue Metru body, but then I look up a little more and then there's the mask of creation just sitting on its neck or whatever. Like, I honestly thought that the mask was its face and it was just placed a little awkwardly just to look kind of creepy or something, but no, I think this big blue thing is the head. And then these gold spikes on the sides are maybe supposed to be its eyes. It's weird looking. I didn't really talk to Meso about it, just because I kind of like the idea that I can't figure it out, but it's still weird. But, you know, back to the bulkiness, I'm really digging these nice, thick, juicy legs. Was that a strange choice of words? Yeah, sure, but I mean, I think it's quite fitting, personally. I don't know, it just looks so well covered up, like it's some solid unified piece. However, the feet, not really doing it for me. I feel like they're too small and too thin or flat, I guess. And then moving upward, I don't really have too many complaints about the torso. I don't know, it's looking pretty solid. But then moving up to like the neck and the shoulder area, yeah, it's starting to look a little cluttered and kind of messy up here. Come on, Meso, clean your room. Also, come on, this tail, this ain't working. And these mace pieces on the shoulders look a little tacky to me. Now let's talk about these big, meaty claws. They sure aren't shredder claws, but they're big and scary enough to work. You know, they definitely add to that intimidation factor, but they do make the rest of the arms look a bit scrawny in comparison. Now, in regards to the MOC's construction, what we have here is a primarily CCBS-based MOC, used in a fairly typical way to make an action figure with all the posability and whatnot, and that's great because there is definitely posability. And Meso is able to utilize this in a way that keeps the MOC standing up and stabilized and all that good stuff. And the bionicle elements he used here don't look out of place either. Everything looks sturdy and actually seems like Meso knew what he was doing with his parts for the most part, I guess. Because for what it is, it's actually pretty complex. Like, just look at those legs and whatever went into the torso, you know? It doesn't look like an easy build, so that's good. But I do have some gripes to share, and one would be that these fingers, while fairly well articulated, I gotta say, look pretty dang fragile. Like that point of connection right there with the single little thing, little nub thing plugging into the little hole thing. I don't really trust it. I can't say I do. And then I also noticed that there's a very severe lacking of a play feature or function or something. And I do actually feel like this MOC could use one, and I'll elaborate more on that in just a bit, but I do gotta say, it brings it down a little bit for me. It kinda does. And now, I know what you all might be thinking, and I know you must have thought this, because the first time I looked at this MOC, I thought the exact same thing. what the heck is it? Like, what is it supposed to be? Where's its head? You know, all these questions that must be answered, and I'm about to give them to you. So what we have here, as the name would probably suggest, is some sort of big creature, something that isn't supposed to exist in nature. And in describing the MOC's concept, Meso himself stated that he wanted to build something that was kind of like Umarak the Destroyer, but just less skinny looking. Like, he felt inspired by the design to make something similar to it, but with added improvements, of course. And so thus we get this, and that would explain the big bulky appearance and the big claws and all that. So you see, he still shares some of the same ideas as Umarak the Destroyer, but he uses it to create his own creature character thing, whatever the heck. And I think, hey, you know, that's cool. I mean, this MOC turned out pretty good for what is essentially a CCBS action figure. It's nothing all too crazy, nothing extreme. It's a pretty simple idea, and I think Meso, for the most part, achieved his goals. And all in all, the creature's design is just intriguing. Like, I kept asking myself, before I got the description out of him, I kept asking myself, like, what the heck is this thing? Like, it feels like I should be able to guess what it is, but what is it? Like, I had pretty much caught on to the Umarak thing already. Like, one of my first guesses was that Umarak and a T-Rex had, like, some sort of weird dinosaur baby. So, you know, it's good to know that I was halfway there. And what we have here is decent. Now, I gotta say, I do wish that he had included a function, because if one of the ideas was to improve on Umarak's design, where a function was present, actually two functions. He had the waist swivel thing, and then the pinching claws feature. And I do think that if Meso had included some sort of function at all, then he'd probably have it in the bag, because as it stands right now, this MOC feels a little bit lacking. But hey, you know, it is what it is. So, we're running out of time. Let's move on to the final scores and get this all wrapped up now, shall we? In terms of appearance, this MOC receives a 3 out of 5. It's not a bad looking MOC, definitely not, but it's, I don't know, I can't say it's the most impressive looking either. Like, it's a decent job, and it's a cool looking design that has a bit of character and some of its own little quirks. You know, it's okay. That's really all I gotta say. It's okay looking in the end. In terms of the build, this MOC receives a 4 out of 5. Say what you will about how it looks, but the build is pretty dang solid, especially since he used mostly CCBS. However, again, I will emphasize that I do feel like this MOC could use some kind of function, so I don't know. Maybe do some experimentation next time, Meso. Maybe. Just maybe. And in terms of the concept, this MOC receives a 4 out of 5. Because it's like, sure, the MOC itself looks okay, but I don't think there's really any denying that Meso basically achieved his goal. He did make a less skinny Umarak-looking thing, but then the reason why I docked off a point was just because, well, again, no function. And the MOC feels a little bit empty without it. Because, you know, at least when I say that the MOC looks okay, I kind of expect a little bit more from the build of it. Or really anywhere else, I guess. But, I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe you guys might find it a little bit better than me. I don't know. Let's move on to the final score, which adds up to an 11 out of 15, which, come on, is still pretty good, especially from one of our cast members who doesn't even MOC on the regular or anything, you know, so it's pretty good. Good job, Meso. Congrats for making it onto the spotlight. I actually do hope to see more out of you. And, you know, as always, same goes for you viewers. So please, if you haven't already, consider posting your own creations to our message boards at board.ttvchannel.com. Check out the LEGO Creations category where you'll be able to post your own MOCs for a chance to become featured on the MOC Spotlight in the future. I primarily look for creativity and just how interesting it looks overall. So hey, if you think you got what it takes, then I'll be sure to do my part so long as you make it visible to me by posting on the message boards. I can't emphasize that enough. Just post it there. Don't send it to me, post it there. And now that's all I have to say, so thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time.